Well, it's an extremely warm welcome to Casablanca and the Stade Mohammed V. Wydad Casablanca taking on Esperance Tunis in what is a mouth-watering North African derby. This the first leg of the semi-finals. And these two certainly have a history, but ready to write a new chapter in very good, in fact perfect conditions. And I'm fortunate enough to be joined, Saimi, by a man who knows where the net is. Asamoah GYAN, how do you see this match going ahead?
Wow, this is going to be a cracker. I can't wait. You can see for yourself, the stadium is full. Everybody's there in their numbers. Esperance, Wydad, they all want to qualify to the final. It's a new competition, African Football League. Everybody wants to be champions. So this is the first leg of this semi-finals, so I'm sure it's going to be great. Everybody's going to enjoy good African football.
That is certainly looking the case, given both these sides winning 3-0 in their second legs of the quarter-finals to reach this stage. Esperance, of course, overturning a 1-0 deficit to Tepe Mazembe, whereas it was relative plain sailing for Wydad Casablanca. And of the two sides, what have been the things that have impressed you about Wydad and Esperance?
Yeah, Wydad have got some qualities, especially when they are playing at home. They know how to position themselves, possession-wise, the quality is there. Esperance, their first leg in the quarterfinals didn't look quite impressive, but they were able to get their job done in the second leg. Now they're playing away again against Wydad, and it's going to be a different game together, because talking about this North African teams, Esperance is going to Morocco from Tunisia. So that sweet rivalry is there, and they're going to battle it out, and I'm sure you could hear everything by yourself. The fans and everything is going to be an amazing game.
Well, there are some away fans having made their way into the ground here, the Mohammed V, and it is a sea of red that welcomes the coaching staff and soon the players. This stadium to be replaced eventually by a grandstand of Casablanca, 113,000 seater. Asamoah, what's the biggest stadium you've played in?
The biggest stadium? I think most of the stadiums.
You only play on the big stage.
I only play in the big stage, so any of them.
Outcoming Adel Ramzi, who's looking cool and calm. Certainly a fabulous result that saw Wydad qualify for this semi-final. Handshakes, and certainly will have a tough task against Tariq Tabit's men. Tariq Tabit having been the sporting director and then stepping in, and as Asamoah was saying, a chance to write a new chapter with this new competition. How excited have you been seeing the African Football League join the calendar of CAF?
It's been great so far, and I'm happy to be part of it. And hey, when I was in Egypt for the draw, I was so happy how things turn around, and now everybody is involved. African Football League is here to stay. It's going to be a very, very good tournament, and I'm sure next season is going to be a cracker, because look at how people have turned out in their numbers. They've accepted it, and the players are even playing their hearts out, and hey, it's going to be great.
As you say, it's shown the people have spoken with their feet, and they've turned out in huge numbers over the tournament. Now the players heading out. The wave of red welcoming the two teams. Wydad Casablanca in all white, whereas for the visitors in their gold and red. Well, these two sides have clashed at the biggest stage, CAF competition. 2 Champions League finals, both going the way of Esperance. 2011, 1-0 over aggregate. And then 2019, a controversial final. The Esperance went on to claim their 4th CAF Champions League crown.
This is the official anthem of the African Football League.
Well, an anthem that will eventually be well known to all. The African Football League getting to the final stage. Both these teams just 3 matches away from potentially 4 matches, I should say, lifting the title. Wydad's boss Adil Ramzi making just 1 change. No wonder after the 4-0 victory on aggregate in the quarterfinals. It's Mohamed Onajem who comes in, and no wonder, great experience. And of course, he replaces Mantasir Latimi. Otherwise, it's as you were. So Amin Omar leading an all-Egyptian officials team. Certainly going to be a potentially fiery occasion. I take it these are types of matches, Asamoah, where referees need to show a strong strength.
Exactly. This is what they have to step up. They have to step up their game. They have to be responsible for any decision they take. You know. And the most important thing is they are all Egyptians, so definitely they'll be comfortable with each other, the language-wise, and everything is going to be perfect for them. This is a huge match. The atmosphere you can see is great, so it will depend on the referees how they're going to be man enough to handle the situation.
So the captains trading flags. Jabran was the difference in the first leg away at Ayimba from the penalty spot, and then it was his header that was knocked in by Ayud El Amloud that set them on their way to a 3-0 victory in the second leg. Well, Esperance have made plenty of changes. Moez Ben Sharifa back in and captaining ahead of 19-year-old Amala Mehmet, who had come into the starting 11 previously, and Ogberu Onush, the young Nigerian, getting a first start in the competition. Rayed Buchniba back, and Osama Fraj in as well. So how do you see this match going? Is it going to be a goal fest, or is it going to be a tight affair?
It's gonna be a very, very tight affair. Although we said it earlier, Esperance didn't start well in the competition, but they were able to score 3 goals at home, and then definitely the confidence level will be high. Everybody wants to qualify, so I don't know whether he's gonna come defending to make sure he keeps the results and wait for the second leg, or he's gonna try and score some goals and defend and try and win the game. And of course, without his playing at home, they have got experienced players. For the recent years in Champions League, they've been very, very good in Champions League. So in front of this crowd, they also try and win this game.
Well, Wydad will also sense this could be third time lucky, having come a cropper in 2 Champions League finals. But will that head-to-head record do Esperance the world of good? We're playing in the here and now as Wydad Casablanca kick off against Esperance Tunis. The Stade Mohammed V is brim to bursting for the first leg of this African Football League semi-final. What's it like for a player, Asamoah, when you have a crowd like this and an atmosphere? It must be the greatest feeling in the world.
Greatest feeling in the world. Some players panic though, which is a normal thing. But personally, when I see a crowd like that, I just want to give them something to talk about. You know, anytime I score, I dance, you know, for people to just have something to talk about. When I see the fans, I feel very, very great. And I'm sure the players are also happy to see the fans playing.
Well, even when you make a good comment, you're dancing in the studio, so that's a pleasure for me as well.
Definitely, this game is going to be a cracker, and hopefully, maybe I might dance here.
I'll keep you to that promise. So it's certainly a touchy start. So much at stake. Of course, you've been a captain in your time. Are there times when you've seen players who are struggling that you maybe try and G up, try and take the stress away?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes psychologically players are down. You know, as a leader, you have to just try and make them feel you are with them, and then definitely they will play for themselves, their family, and they also play for you. You know, so that's how it is.
Certainly, captains will be looking to do that. Moez Ben Sharifa, of course, in goal. Yahya Jabran right in the middle of Adil Ramzi's side. He's trying to continue the excellent work originally done by Walid Regraoui, who of course took Wydad to Champions League and Batola glory. Tarek Tabet had come under criticism, having stepped into the coaching role, but has kept the backing of Amdi Mehdi, the president. And of course, as Asamoah said, Esperance have improved as the tournament has gone on, and that suggests it might have been a vote of confidence as well worth making. Adil Ramzi right in the ear of Amin Abdul Fat. The ball switched out to the flank. Only touch for Hisham Bousfian. And a grin on the face of Osam Gazia. Certainly found in the second leg, you saw Wydad's ability, the players to switch positions, and the way their fullbacks in fact almost become strikers. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. The system Ramsey have adapted, I think, is you want to play more offensive. You know, when the centre backs have the ball, you can see the 2 laterals going wide, and then some of the midfielders dropping deep to get the ball. So it's like a rotation. They are just rotating, trying to explore the spaces, and that is what they are doing.
Well, it worked absolutely perfectly against Enyimba. All 3 goals scored by defenders. Ayub El Amloud, Jamal Harkness with his first goal since switching across the rivalry from Raja to Wydad, and then a stunning strike from Ya Atiyat Ala, Moroccan international, as part of the wonderful Atlas Lions that went all the way to the semi-finals and finished 4th in Qatar. And the crowd certainly have come for a party. Can the players of Wydad manage to repay them? Jabran was always going to take that from Monajem. Slack from Sherki El Bari. But how quickly Wydad press the ball, and it's won back by El Amloud. Atiatala. For the moment, it certainly looks like Esperance are sitting in and looking to frustrate.
Exactly, that's what Esperance is doing. They have the ball right now. You know, this is their game plan. They want to play on the counter.
A really good switch of play. Sam with a brilliant ball at the first opening. And while he might look back on that, Asamoah Bugera. Do you think he might have taken the chance first time?
The goalkeeper was very, very smart there. He tried, he made the, and then he went and closed him down. So the goalkeeper's calculation was very, very good. The player tried to just chase the ball down, and then the goalkeeper came to him. You know, so it was a good calculation by the goalkeeper.
It is a surprise given Bugera's recent form. 2 assists in the victory over Monastir before a double against Tepe Mazembe. Dynamic performer. Maybe that chance just coming a little early in the contest, but as you mentioned, sitting deep, but once they were on the ball, they had runners from deep.
Yes, when you sit deep, you should get a couple of midfield players who can keep the ball, you know, so you can just make sure you keep the ball and then you can play 2 or 3 passes and then put it forward. But when you have the ball and you start losing the ball that early, you give the home crowd, home team more edge to play. And I think Esperance hasn't been bad. They haven't been bad in today's game. They've really, really improved. You can see they are getting their rhythm. And it's quite interesting how they've started this first half.
Hands out from Zakaria Trawi. There's a quick little look left and right. And work it slowly through Abdel Fat. El Amloud. Abdel Fat has something to prove, the only defender not to score in that second leg, but El Amloud does well, having overrun it, to dig out a cross and at least win a corner.
I think the first control was a bit bad. It could have been something dangerous. The first touch, he did the right thing, but if he should have gone a bit middle, he would have done something dangerous.
Didn't quite get his angles right. Can they on the set piece? Signal set. Shirky El Bari not happy with attentions in the box as it's taken short. The referee wanting a word. Well, warnings given out. Gibran will now look to edge some space. Atiatala this time does go direct into a good area, but it's a first contact's good for Esperance. But then they've given it away on the edge of their area. Gibran digs out a ball. Oh, it's a great first touch from Onajem. Well, he wants a corner. At the moment, it's just going to be a goal kick.
That was a great touch, individual brilliance. But I think Esperance is defending too deep. You know, they should have pushed the players out, you know, to make the strikers very, very uncomfortable. Now, strikers, when you stay deep, you're making us very, very comfortable because that is our area.
Onajem came on the second half sub. It's only his second start of the season. But great experience in his first spell at Wydad, and then with Zamalek in Egypt, so likely knows our matchday referee very well. Well, the boos ring out, and it seems to be ruffling the feathers of Esperance. Gibran just lost out there, but good support by Ananash. Ananash takes it out. Great angled ball. Esperance just clinging on a little as Wydad up the pressure. Well, not in agreement. Onajem and El Amloud.
For me, I think Wydad should keep on putting the pressure. You know, you are playing in front of these fans. When you give them something, they also cheer, and then the home crowd the away team become very, very shaky. But when you slow the game, you make them come into the game. You have this kind of fans. Just try and push to make them.
Well, it's quite something, I imagine, the noise now, but if Wydad score, if there was a roof on the Mohammed V, it might come off. Loose ball, picked up brilliantly. Busfian just trying to get it out of his feet. He's kept going, great balance. It's a good header away, but Esperance cannot get out. Jabran, well, he thinks about something spectacular, but uses it as a dummy, then does take on a long ranger. But it is all Wydad. I'm not a massive surprise, but Esperance need to find a way to hold on to the ball.
Yes, Esperance needs a way to find a way to hold on to the ball and then try and frustrate Wydad. But Wydad looks like they have the men, they are possessing the ball. Jabrani is very, very experienced player, the captain. He's been there, and then he's controlling the midfield well.
Ball from deep on the angle. Al-Bari trying to get free, but free kick against El Amloud. Wydad have come into this on a fantastic winning run since drawing with Renaissance Berkane. They've won 5 on the trot. They've only conceded 1 time in a 3-1 league victory over Renaissance Zamamra. And of those 5 victories, 4 times they've scored 3. The only time they haven't was away in the first leg against Enyimba.
So that tells you how attacking minded they are. So when you leave yourself vulnerable, they're gonna punish you. So I think Esperance have witnessed it, they've seen it, they have passed 4 games, so they have to just sit back to make sure they hold on to the scores, and then they can maybe do something offensively later.
Well, we are just in the 12th minute, and already Moe Ben Sharifa has been clearly warned about time wasting. The referee might have given him some sympathy given the volume inside the Mohammed V. Very early to be trying to waste time. But I guess any seconds Esperance can eat up out of the game, they'll be happy with. Jabrani stepping out with the best of balls, but gathered up by Busfian. Touch from Draoui. It's very much attack against defence. Wydad needing to find those quick, incisive passes to create the space. As you said, Asamoah, they don't want to play slow ball and allow the Tunisians back into position.
Exactly. When you have an opposition team defending, you have to just move the ball quick, because anytime you slow the ball, they organize, and it's going to be very difficult. So they have to try and move the ball quickly.
Jabrani round the corner. And then it's back from Ananash. He's on the move. Slid away on the slide. Certainly a tough opening quarter for Tariq Tabit's men. Well, took it on, ambitious, but never got caught.
And sometimes when your opponent closes the gap, you have to just try it from distance, and try and see if something can work.
And the rain spitting down in Casablanca as the whistles ring down for Ben Sharifa. Did start the first Champions League qualifier first leg, otherwise had been replaced by Aminala Nemic, but back in tonight. Experience clearly a bigger value when coming to the Mohammed V. Turnover of ball, asking a bit too much maybe of Anash. Loses it under his foot. Ogbelu Onush, and it just flashes past Ben Sharifa's goal.
This is the second attempt, and they are doing the right things, because when you don't react quickly, they'll come and cover the space, and it will be very, very difficult to penetrate. So sometimes when you get a space, try to shoot.
Well, certainly a fine hit from the Rabat-born forward. Came through at Malaga before signing for Wydad at the beginning of last season. Just the one goal so far in Wydad colours. It certainly wasn't his shot that took down Ben Sharifa, but the goalkeeper certainly looking in a bit of pain.
Yeah, I think he trapped the ball, and then the striker was obviously trying to press, and it was a 50-50 ball, and I think he touched him a bit, which is a foul, obviously.
Well, Onajem wasn't exactly showing much sympathy, but not to be expected from the opposing striker. Well, the pictures and sound from Casablanca's Mohammed V, absolutely stunning. The stadium still has life yet in it. It will be one of the host stadiums for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations that will be held in Morocco. Of course, being replaced ahead of the incredible event 2030, starting in South America and then shared between Morocco, Spain and Portugal. You obviously, Asamoah, lucky enough to have experience at World Cup level. What would it mean to play a World Cup or at your home country?
Oh, that'll be amazing. I remember 2010, even when it was hosted for the first time in Africa, it was amazing, and I think it was one of the best World Cups FIFA has ever hosted. You know, and talking about infrastructure, Morocco has been doing something recently very, very good, and I won't be surprised if the World Cup comes to Africa one day again.
I take it for you and everyone on the continent, it was in South Africa, but very much felt like a home tournament for the continent. Exactly,
and everybody was happy. The whole continent was happy, because that was a dream come true for the whole of Africa. It thought it was impossible, so it became possible. South Africa made it possible. Africa made it possible, and now people are believing Africans can host a huge tournament like that. Infrastructure-wise, Morocco has been improving this time, and it's manifested in the last World Cup. They were able to go to the semi-finals, and the first African country to go to the semi-final. So African football is improving in terms of infrastructure.
Great hopes for the future in the here and now. Onajem got to the ball first, and that has provided a great opportunity if it had been a free kick, which clearly Onajem not happy, but getting on with things, and maybe he should have just kept going for the ball. Instead, he wanted to claim for a handball. He looked in a better position to attack.
Yes, he was in a good position to attack. I don't know why he had to stop. Just go when the referee whistle, and then you can't just leave the ball and expect the referee to whistle. If the that was what we said earlier, the referee takes charge. This is the final decision. So just do what you have to do. Don't look at the referee.
Experience from his days with Zamalek, but he thought he was getting some added favour from Egyptian referees. Sorely wrong. And as you see there, not just the first yellow card. As Asamoah said, the referee will decide what's an infringement. That was a clear one.
That was a clear one. I think it was a tactical foul. The defender had to do what he had to do to stop the game. You know, it's part of it. You know, sometimes you need to stop the game and make sure you reorganize. And that was what he did. This was a tactical foul. The referee took his decision.
Well, Sufyan, I'm not sure he needed to tell the referee. His yellow card was almost already in his hand. Wydad Bushneba represented his country under 20 World Cup. Restored to the starting lineup. Now walking somewhat of a tightrope. Two players do risk missing the second leg as the ball is swung in. Decent enough header, but no one coming round the back post. Drifts out harmlessly for a goal kick. Well, Amin Ben Hamida missing from the starting 11, having himself picked up a second booking of the tournament in that first leg. Bushneba not one of those at risk. Jabrani happy to let the ball go out. Well, Esperance do have two players that could be suspended. Osema Bukera and Gacha. For the home side, Amin Abulfat. Well, with the man on the ball, Jabrani and Isham Busfian could yet miss the second leg. How difficult is it playing when you know a booking could see you out of the next match?
Yeah, sometimes you need to give it all, but you face the reality when you are being booked in a game. You know, not to even take a red card in the same game, and sometimes it happens. It happens in the game, so you have to just let it go, give your heart out, and the next player can play in the next leg.
Insight into the mind of a footballer. It's something certainly finds would be a massive challenge to try and put the threat of a booking out of your mind to play your game and not be inhibited.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, players go on the field not want to get that yellow card, and it affects the performance, you know, because they are too careful, you know. But when you play your heart out, give everything, let the team qualify, and then the coach decides in the next year, in the next leg of the competition.
A slight issue. Gaith Ouabi broke into the side last season, often from the bench. He was always marked out as a future star, captained the under-20 Tunisian side at the recent Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. Under-17, under-20 and under-23 competitions, a great window into the future of African football. Ball into El Badri. Lays it off, but it's a bit lazy on the ball from Sufyan Anash. He's doing the hard work to chase back. Usem Tika made some mileage, but in the end, coughing up possession. Driving from deep, Trawi. It's a match of few chances. It may just be the inaugural African Football League. This being played with the respect and desire it deserves. Flicked away, but Rodriguez, the Brazilian, had absolutely no chance of trying to reel that in. He's been understandably isolated. Atiatala. Jabrani calls for it. The Wydad quarterback Now clips it into a good area. Onagem beaten to it. A little bit more urgency from Jabrani. As mentioned, Wydad need to keep the ball moving, and certainly the rain in Casablanca should help. Little flick on. It was always going to be tough to beat Ben Sharifa from there.
So far, there hasn't been any chance. The only chance, surprisingly, went to Esperance, which the goalkeeper had to calculate very, very well. I think Wydad are playing well. They are possessing the ball, but I think they should try and execute their chances, by getting shot on target, to make the goalkeeper panic a bit.
So far, no panic from Ben Sharifa, working within the time he's allowed, given he's already been warned by the referee for time wasting. Of course, a goalkeeper normally is not going to mind too much being booked, but certainly don't want to risk too long in a booking. And later in the match, you really do want to run the clock down. Jabrani, little look round the corner. There's plenty of space for Anash. First time ball. It's a really good header. At least might have done better, but a tough one when he's nearly bending down to his knees to get to it.
That was a good effort. That was a good effort. But I like the way they are passing the ball in between the lines. I like those kind of passes. When you pass the ball in between the lines, you eliminate 2 or 3 players, and it becomes so easy for you.
I take it as a striker as well, you want a change in the kind of deliveries. That was a first-time ball, rather than always taking a touch, and as you said, allowing the defence to set up.
Yes.
Maybe try and take them by surprise.
Exactly, and they have to move the ball quickly. And you can see Coach Ramsey is also complaining. He's been given a sign to move the ball quickly, and that is what he wants to do, because when a team is defending and you don't move the ball quickly, it will become a problem.
Time on it. Cross in, but eat and drink to the Esperance defence. It's pretty much an 11-man defence unit for the Red and Gold, the Tunisian champions. Jabrani lifts it in early, but wayward. More confidence on the ball to take it down, but can only clear it to halfway. The captain seeing a lot of the ball, as one would expect. Wasn't happy though with the teammates going backwards. That is forward. Trying to save it from going out, and does extremely well. Comes to Anash. Onagem pokes it down the line. El Amloud just over the head, and the back from Raid Bushniba. Well, trying to go through bodies there, but Gacha was got. Onagem, he's got time, swings it in. Well, Tarek Tabet was going absolutely wild on this near side, the Esperance coach.
So far, Wydad tries to operate from the right side of the defense. They try to chip the ball, and then they even had a penalty against Enyimba. Whenever they try to possess the ball, they'll be looking at the right side just to put it. And you can see Ujahem running just behind the defense, and that is what they've been doing since. They've done around about 4 times right now on the right side, and they look very, very dangerous with that.
Slowly but surely, Esperance just looking for something similar to what they had very early in the match. Gacha somewhat left alone, but in these circumstances, winning throw, massive achievement. We're not going to get that, despite the protestations. So just the one shot on goal, as mentioned, and it came the way of Esperance. I guess Wydad are looking for a quality chance, not just half-baked ones.
Yes, this is what they should do. They should pass the ball quickly, try and insist, shoot from wide, try and do something. It looks like Esperance have read their style, and then they are just waiting for them, and they look comfortable right now, and that is what they want to do. They came to defend, to have some 1 point or even possible win, to make sure they prepare for the second leg.
I guess it shows you have to have great confidence, and also in your coach, to be comfortable not having the ball, because for some players they must feel like they want to do something when actually the game plan is to be solid.
Yes, exactly. And Wydad is doing the right things. Sometimes, but the final pass in the final third is the problem right now. In football, as I'm a striker, and I still think the final third is the most difficult place to explore.
Easier to destroy than build. Wydad have certainly built up plenty of possession, but as yet haven't created much in terms of clear-cut chances. For Esperance, it's 30 minutes down, on mission, leave at least without losing. A little bit of possession, a rarity for Esperance. Watched forward by Meria. The crowd getting their backs up, but Usem Teka taking it away. Ball round the corner, Teka again. He's got a runner from deep, which creates space for Bugera. Well, Esperance clearly looking for their opportunities to attack. Just as it got into the final third, that's where it broke down. I take it for an away side. This is exactly what you'd want. You're keeping it tight and then trying to play when the moment asks for it.
Yes, exactly, and that's what Esperance is doing. And I think the technical team might be very, very happy with their performance right now. Although they've not gotten any chances, they've not created anything enough. But this is the game plan. They just come to make sure they get results. They don't take any risk. And it's very, very early to talk about this. But so far, so good for the away team.
We saw from the flag, thank you for the 2030 World Cup. Incredibly, it'll be 20 years when that tournament takes place, since South Africa were the first to host a World Cup as an African nation. And Morocco will be joining the Iberian neighbours, Spain and Portugal, after the centenary will be celebrated in Argentina, Paraguay and Argentina. The tournament over 6 countries is a little bit... Argentina, Uruguay and Paraguay, of course. It would be a bit strange for Argentina to get the honour twice. There were calls for a handball. The crowd certainly haven't forgotten, but Esperance getting on with things. Touch for Onush, just 20 years old. He's stuck to the task alongside his teammates. The young Nigerian, just 16 minutes of action against Tepe Mazembe. Now looking to try and help cover things up. And Sherki El Bari trying to hold the ball up. He's claiming a tugged shirt. Esperance doing well to also get under the skin of Wydad players. Sometimes complaining a wee bit too much, as we see clearly no foul play from Gates Bouahabi.
They came to defend and they are having success. You can see the broad defensive midfielders just have a lone striker to just make sure they play on the counter. So the game plan is working for them, and I'm sure the technical team will be happy right now.
Certainly taking a goalless draw before the match. I'm sure Esperance would bite their hand off for it, knowing that they have the second leg on home soil. Their touch, Jose Rodrigo Rodriguez. So good they almost named him twice.
Now Esperance is beginning to find their feet. They are beginning to string their passes together, and the game can get interesting.
I guess there's confidence in the plan working, and now looking to work it into the final third. A little bit awkward. They've easy enough in the end for El Moti. And quickly out, and this is where Esperance could be caught. Now they've pushed some players forward, and it's brilliant weaving run from Atiatala. Clips it into space, and just when Esperance had pushed forward, it's no surprise that Wydad had their clearest chance on goal from fullback to fullback, but El Amloud missing the target.
I think he's their danger man, El Amloud. He's been running behind the defense. I saw him against Enyimba. He created a penalty, so he's the one to look at. Very, very dangerous player, Amloud.
It shows where the modern game's going, that you can have two fullbacks be your greatest weapons. We've seen that with Liverpool and other teams. Of course, the old days, it would have been Roberto Carlos and Cafu.
I even thought he was a striker till I saw him playing. The tactic of Ramsey has been very, very impressive. You know, the fullbacks are the one creating a lot of chances and creating a lot of being dangerous in his setup.
Well, as you mentioned, El Amloud winning the penalty in the first leg, and in the second leg against Enyimba got the opening goal. But the strikers finished inside the 6-yard box with a header from the man on the ball, Jabrani, who really likes to wind one up. That would have been fully 40 yards. Level of confidence. Certainly we're nowhere near any level of desperation. But Wydad, ball swung in, goes through El Barry. Rodrigo Rodriguez scrapping. Jabrani able to recycle possession. Now with Abul Fat. Jamel Harkness. Now the lieutenant looking ahead as Draoui takes a touch. Harkness out onto the flank. Atiatala inside and now receives, but it's a walking pace. Cat and mouse between these North African rivals. Thought about the long ranger, finally came, just never got the right dip.
Wydad is doing everything they could to make sure they find the target. But they are not still. I think there is a bit of frustration right now, but they need to calm down. Make sure they string their passes together. They are playing at home. They have the fans behind them, so they shouldn't get frustrated at all.
It's exactly like you said. We've gone from a carnival atmosphere. Now the fans, there's booing in terms of Esperance. There's frustration. They're desperate for Wydad to get in front, and that obviously will translate to the players.
Yes, so Wydad have to make the fans stand on their feet. You know, try and give something, shoot, do something positive for them to cheer for you. When the atmosphere goes down, sometimes it gives the opposition the edge to also do what they want.
Certainly, this will be exactly where Esperance want to be, but can they keep Wydad at bay? Yudel Amloud with the best chance so far. That's a much better one from distance. On target, maybe didn't need to rush the cross back across, but they have got a corner. What a hit by Abul Fat.
Great hit. This is what we were talking about. Just hit something, let the goalkeeper punch out, they let them panic, keep the fans on their toes, and then things will happen. I hope they continue doing that.
Well, Abul Fat obviously frustrated to see Amloud, Harkness and Ati Ala all score in the last match, trying to get in on the act, may get still. Flick on, but Jabrani not really able to head it, just popping off his head, and El Moti, the other end, looking on as Ben Sharifa just eats up a few seconds. Well, the crowd are certainly going to be on Ben Sharifa's back, but experienced goalkeeper not going to be intimidated by that. Down the line, Onagem loses out, and now Bugera. It's a little nudge, cuts back inside. Good support. Wydad try and get out quickly. Good touch from Anush. And there's space for Deka. Esperance work it well. Cross in, and the Brazilian on the spin. Brave block to deny Rodrigo Rodriguez, but then he hits the target. It wasn't travelling too quickly. El Moti able to get across and push it wide.
We said Esperance is getting back into the game. It was a great header and a great save. Sometimes when you leave the opposition like that, they're gonna show you they want to score, you know. But tactically, Esperance have been very, very disciplined, and then they are doing the right things.
Well, this was the hit earlier from Abufat. Great swerve on it to really make Ben Sharifa second guess. But with the type of header we saw from Rodrigo Rodriguez, he has to create a lot of the pace himself from a standing position. It must be tough to try and score in that occasion.
Sometimes there are some crosses you need to get a target, and that was what he did. You can see he's a very good with the head, with the height, and I think he got everything right.
Ball swung in, brave header at the near post, and Onagem with a perfect first touch to give him a chance to crash forward. It crashes down instead. He wants to get on with it, but the referee just wants players to calm down. Easier said than done. But so far the referee has been right on point. I think when players see a strong referee, their behaviour gets a lot better. We've not seen any theatrics. Players have just been getting on with the job.
Exactly, and when you do that, you make the referee's job very, very easy for him. You know, everybody wants to play, everybody wants to get it on. Somebody goes down, get up, go. You know, and it makes the referee's job very, very easy.
Ball clipped out. Just manages to keep it in. Bousfian recycled. Just trying to pick the option. Instead drives it into the captain. Jabrani into feet. Dropping deep. Anash. Bousfian again. It's well blocked, the cross. Defence on their toes on that occasion. Usem Gasha. A disciplined first half performance from Esperance, but not without its chances. Wydad Casablanca having to play against banks of defence. Still could have forged ahead. It's been an engrossing contest. It looks like might be heading into half-time all square unless there's something majestic to end the first 45. Long from Moaz Ben Sharifa. As well to keep it in, Bugera. Oh, it's a really poor foul to give away from Onagem. In fact, it's the foul player who's been told to keep his counsel.
And I think the last 10 minutes of the game, Esperance have been able to find their feet. They'll be able to string their parties together, frustrate Wydad by getting fouls, you know, to make sure they push forward. And Wydad should be very, very careful about these set pieces, because Esperance when you watch their last game, they were very good in set pieces. They can rely on it to even try and get a goal.
And if they're good defensively at 0-0, imagine when they've got a goal to protect. Asamoah Fraj delivers, but it's a really poor attempt. And Gasha is not taking any chances.
Exactly, that is what he's trying to do. You know, hit it to the crowd and then let everybody come back, because they got the big guys who went to for the free kick. You know, so he just had to hit it for them to resettle the other team. And tactically, they have been very, very good.
They've certainly been on point. Just 2 minutes added on at the end of this engrossing first half. First quarter of this two-legged semi-final of the African Football League. And yet, despite the attempt at some wrestling, the corner kick could yet be the last action of the half.
So far, everybody wants to play football. Nobody wants to stay on the ground. So you can see the referee just added 2 minutes to it. The more you stay on your feet, the shorter the game lasts.
Certainly, he's garnered the respect of the players and respect to the scoreline. Once again, having to just make clear he's got his eye on them. Chance to deliver a late blow potentially. Esperance, though, to try and break out. Asking a little too much of Onush. Well, he stayed down, Busfian. Now the play is stopped. Well, he has been down before in the half. Seems to be holding his arm. He's in this challenge with Gasha. Looks to be maybe a bit more uncomfortable and badly hurt. And thankfully, back to his feet. I'm not sure there's going to be much left of this half, but another body down. Belu Onush, as mentioned, just 16 minutes in the second leg against Tepe Mazembe, but in from the start tonight, and at 20 years old, has been part of this Esperance side who have stood up and have been counted. As the halftime whistle goes, it's been a tense, fraught night in Casablanca, but for the moment, Esperance are halfway to job done. At the halftime break, it's Wydad 0, Esperance 0. Well, a real battle, and that was one thing that was the easiest to predict when Wydad Casablanca and Esperance Tunis clash. As mentioned, Wydad on a 5-match winning streak and scored plenty of goals, but Esperance have been a hard nut to crack. Their only defeat in recent times, since July in fact, was that first leg loss at Tepe Mazembe, and they turned that around emphatically. So no great surprise, 70% possession for Wydad Casablanca. But despite only having 29, 30%, Esperance have had 2 chances on goal to Wydad's 1. So they should be delighted with how it's gone. But Wydad, apart from a little bit during the half, got a little frustrated, but overall have stuck to the task, and it's making for a very interesting first half of the first leg. What will the second half have in store? Well, this is the period at halftime when the coaches will earn their money. Adil Ramzi want Wydad to keep their focus and keep plugging away. Tareq Tabet will be absolutely delighted with how the first half has gone. So how do you see it at halftime, Asamoah?
I think the home crowd will be a bit frustrated right now. You see the energy before the game, the energy we saw. You could see now the home crowd are a bit worried. You know, they want to play in the final, in the first edition of the African Football League. You know, but they haven't played bad. They've played well. They did what they had to do. Just that Esperance have been defensively sound. They have been very, very good defensively. And I still think if they push and then they still pushing, they can get a goal to make the fans happy. But the last 10 minutes of the game, you could see Esperance doing well.
So the first leg of the semi-final, Wydad Casablanca taking on Esperance Tunis. The two sides have met twice in CAF Champions League finals. The Tunisian champions on both occasions were victorious. And despite setting up defensively, they had the first gilt-edged chance of the match. But it seemed to come too soon for Asamoah Bouguera. 2 goals against Tepe Mazembe, but not clinical there. Onajem then had a chance to strike for a goal. He claimed a corner, but over the top. Then distance seemed to be Wydad's best avenue. Thumping drive from Hichem Bousfan. There was some frustration. Shaki El Bari, the forward line, unable really to get into it. Another header drifting wide. 4 goals in the build-up to this competition. The former Berkane striker yet to net in the African Football League. That's because it's been the defenders for Wydad who have been potent, and once again it should have been Ayoub El Amloud who give them the lead. He did so in the second leg against Inyemba, but this time heading wide after being picked out by his fellow fullback Ati Atala. Well, Amin Abdel-Fat was frustrated to be the only defender not to score in the last match. His fantastic drive, brilliantly saved by Moez Ben Sharifa. And at the other end, Youssef El Moti showed he was equally up to the task. Rodrigo Rodriguez with a fine header. The Brazilian frustrated. Goalless at the break. Wydad keep plugging away. But for the moment, Esperance delighted with where they find themselves. So goalless at the break. Join us for the second half of this enthralling North African derby. Just a wee while. So welcome back ahead of the second half. A change already for Adil Ramzi. An inverse from the second leg of the quarter-final. This time Mohamed Onajem is the one replaced this time by Montasir Latimi, who started in that 3-0 win over in Yimba. Well, some are keeping the faith, all smiles. Wydad will be confident, even if it remains goalless, but how they would greatly desire a lead to protect come the second leg when they travel to Tunis. So underway, Esperance get the game restarted. It is all square and goalless here in Casablanca. And the tense and battling nature of the game very much likely to continue. Do you expect to see much change in the second half?
Yes, I can see Ramsey bringing a forward. So you could see you have a 3 centre forward in the game, but they were just playing from a different side of the field. So you could see he wants to attack. He desperately need a goal, and every coach will desperately need a goal in the second half. They have to feel a sense of urgency now.
Well, certainly not hanging around before making the change.
Now you can see they are pressing very high, and then the centre back are also following, so they are pressing very high. They want to get in control of the ball and play quickly forward.
Wydad have certainly been used to scoring goals of late. They've so far found Ben Sharifi and Esperance tough to break down. He's made his change early, Adil Ramzi. The Fians seem to have rediscovered their early first half form. Understandable, turn up in such big numbers, such high hopes. Frustrating when the match is this tight. Esperance are here to frustrate and maybe try and nick an advantage. Ball spread out to Gacha. Wydad recover, and Jabrani steals it away from Rodrigo Rodriguez. Down the line, and there's space. Has a quick couple of looks, delivers in, but with hands behind the back, easily dealt with by Tugai. Jabrani surveys the field, Finds that pocket of space. Dangerous ball in. Tugai getting help from Yassine Maria. Harkness. Abdul Fatih. Al Hamloud tries once, will go again. Elects to recycle. Jabrani wants it. It's a really incisive ball through the lines, but when the finish needed to be applied, Atiatala couldn't quite produce it.
That was a great build-up from Wydad. They started like the way they started in the first half, you know. But football without goal scoring is sometimes frustrating. But I think they started on a good note. They are pressing high. They're making sure they want to dominate possession as usual. So let's see how it goes.
Atiatala seemed to be wanting to maybe take a touch, but seemed to walk into the ball rather than onto it. Certainly not short of a goal or two, particularly shown in the previous match. An absolute thumping finish to fully wrap up what was a 4-0 aggregate win over Nigerian champions Enyimba. Busfian was the assist on that occasion as well. Almost at the double. But now a strike coming in. Youssef El Moti looking comfortable as it dragged wide. Well, just 20 years of age, Onush. Certainly growing into the match on his African Football League debut. Full debut, I should say. It's been so exciting for a youngster to get a big opportunity when you're told you're going to start the Lions' Den of Casablanca.
Yes, it's a huge opportunity for the Nigerian. He might not be expecting it. Maybe he was training so well, and the coach decided to put him. And he's got a story to tell. He's performing so well. His first game was against Wydad, which is a very, very good initiative for him.
Defending Esperance's first option, Yassine Maria playing behind. Has been amongst the goals the last couple of seasons. 3 goals, entirety of the Tunisian Ligue 1 campaign. 3 already this. The first task is trying to repel Wydad. Got to the ball first. Jamal Harkness certainly endeared himself to the Wydad fans with his first goal in the last match, having switched colours from the green and white of Raja for Wydad Casablanca. Must be such a big move and a big decision when a player decides to switch between rivals.
Yeah, yes, it's a very, very difficult decision. I'm sure the player will also feel the heat. You know, I remember during the olden days, Luis Figo switched from Barcelona to Real Madrid, and it was a disaster. You know, I've seen a lot of players switching from their team to the rivalry team. So it depends on the individual.
Well, no butchers bringing any produce to the Mohammed V, thankfully, as was the case with Luis Figo. But a yellow card handed out for Usam Teka. Pleaded his innocence, but the arm slightly up on Jabrani. And the referee not willing to let that pass without a sanction. Quick ball round the corner. Drifted in, there's space for Busfian. Stands to the ball, now creates a little yard of space. Cut back across, but didn't quite get the angle. An easy take for Ben Sharifa. It must be interesting because Cherki El Bari is the centre forward, but often is dropping into space to create space for others. It's a very different type of forward role than you might have been experienced in your days.
Yeah, sometimes when you draw, you bring your position for the others to get space to attack. You know, sometimes. And I think they have seen it, and anytime he draws, they don't come, they just stay.
The trap not quite working as well as it did in the last match or in previous matches. As Asamoah says, that's allowed Esperance to stay tight and compact.
And it's working for them. It's working for them, honestly. They are very comfortable with what they are doing. And I think everybody is very, very calm. And they are waiting for Wydad to get into the area for them to be aggressive.
You can see Maria and Tugai in particular marshalling that back line.
All they are doing is they just do the shadow marking. Anytime they get close to the air, that is where they get aggressive to win the ball and then play on the counter.
That's where the frustration comes in. Jabrani offers out the apologies. Well, it's raining down here in Casablanca. It's yet to rain any goals. And for now, the red wall of Wydad fans trying to remain patient. Their boos certainly not putting off a side with the quality and experience of Esperance de Tunis. Well, they're dragging themselves a bit further back. Don't think Yassine Maria will be too disappointed with that going behind. Regular with the Tunisian international side. It certainly shows. So far, Tarek Tabet delighted how the match has unfolded. Can Wydad flick a switch and find that attacking verve? Driving out from the back is Harkness. Bufian, tentative ball, easily blocked by Gacha, who collects off Rodrigo. And then Harkness able to steal the ball back. We're still goalless. Of course, just the first of two legs in this African Football League semi-final. Great strength shown by Onush. And he'll just show experience beyond his years to let the ball trickle out. Now that is the definition of a shoulder charge. Esperance, for the moment, remaining relatively comfortable in their defensive shape. The impetus on Wydad to break them down. Draoui pulls into space, turns on it and fires it into Harkness. Seen a lot of the ball in the last few minutes, the defender. Of course, the centre-backs can offer Wydad that extra player on the ball, moving into the space. Flip forward, El Bari, but not really good communication. Just flicking it behind.
So you can see anytime Wydad have the ball, Esperance defending 6. They have 3 centre backs, and then the wings, and then 1 pivot, which is Onuche joins in defense, and then they become 6 there. So it's very, very difficult to penetrate.
Question is, can they then get players forward? And they've shown an athleticism to do so. Gets the run of the ball. It's asking a lot of Gacha. The linesman's flag, almost just leaving it as a bit of a lottery, but in the end it was a goal kick, almost putting out for a throw, which would have been a win of sorts. Taken short, and Wydad sticking to their principle of playing through. Harkness again on the ball.
Amloud is making those runs, but it looks like it's on the blind side of the players. They don't see. Anytime they give him that ball behind the defense, they become very, very dangerous, but they don't see it now.
Busfian, it's a great ball in, and it's gone into the net. El Bari might not have got a touch, but the big striker was the decoy in the end. And all that frustration flows out from the stands. Well, this Red Sea aren't for parting, but Wydad Casablanca have found a way, and they lead in this first leg of the African Football League semi-final. Well, it was a wicked delivery, and exactly what Asamoah you'd want your wide men to do.
Exactly. Put the ball in the box, let the defenders work. Sometimes things can happen. And now, let's see how Esperance is going to respond to this, because they came with that defensive minded. Now they've conceded. How are they going to respond now?
It's a delicious ball, and the movement across from El Bari was what made Moe Ben Sharifa have to second guess, and then he wasn't able to get anything on it. And I guess this is the value of a curling cross rather than maybe just a strike it goal. You got two options. The second one has come up trumps. Well, as you said, how will Esperance respond? Tarek Tabet's initial game plan for the moment isn't completely bust. Clearly a 1-0 away leg. First tie isn't the end of the road, but they certainly do not want to go 2-0 down.
Yes, I think they should still stick to the game plan to make sure they frustrate them. 1-0, and maybe 15 minutes to the end of the game, they can try and attack a bit, just try and keep the results. Don't get sluggish so you concede another goal. When you concede another goal, then it's game over. So I still think they should stick to their game plan, and that is what they are still doing.
Of course, it's a different proposition in three-time CAF Champions League winners Wydad. Esperance themselves, four-time winners. Of course, the Red of Wydad don't need to be told that, but Esperance did come from a goal down defeat in the quarterfinals. There's Rodrigo Rodriguez, who saw one fine header tipped wide. He heads off, and on comes Keba Soe, the Gambia teenager, just 18 years of age, heading into the Lions' Den of the Stade Mohammed V. Well, on loan from fellow Tunisian Ligue 1 side Soliman. Two appearances in the Batola. This is third in the African Football League. Just 66 minutes. He's got just under half an hour plus stoppage time. The 18-year-old from Bakau. Wydad trying to really put their foot down on this tie. It's a lovely ball to the back post, off the bar. Well, El Bari was the decoy for the opening goal. He is so close to doubling their lead.
Another cross into the 18-yard box. This is what they should be doing. When you get there, just get into the box. And they've tried it. This is the second time they hit the bar, they scored one. So they should keep on doing it.
It's a wonderful delivery from World Cup hero Atia Tala. And Esperance starting to feel the heat despite the rain. You can see Adel Ramzi, hand on ball, quickly ball to his fullback. The coach setting the tone. Oh, it's a lovely pick out. Not sure how much they knew about it, but then a little bit too desperate after a poor touch, and Sofiane Anash picking up an unnecessary yellow card. I guess frustration just getting the better of him once he'd let the ball get away from him.
Exactly.
Well, this kind of cross that's meat and drink for Asamoah GYAN.
Barry here was unlucky there. He did what he had to do as a striker. You know, when you jump the ball is so high, you don't nod, and that was what he did. He just let the ball hit the head and get a target. The goalkeeper had no chance, but good show from the striker, and then he was unlucky there.
Very unlucky, just a little bit lower, and it would have clipped in. But certainly better quality deliveries from the wide areas, and has really opened up this game. Could be in for quite a finale. Little look around from Teka. He's apologising, but he did well to keep hold of the ball down the line. Rare bit of possession for Esperance in Wydad's half. An away goal would be absolutely priceless. And it may yet come! Brilliant clearance. Almost celebrating as if he'd scored. Jamal Hartness.
Great defending from Wydad. He saw it. He didn't want to allow the goalkeeper to break anything. He just had to take it off the line.
Well, it was a really clean strike by Hartness. Perfectly placed. Of course, as mentioned, a two-legged tie. Away goals could be a defining point of the match. We saw that in the Champions League final when Wydad scored late in Cairo, only to lose out here at home to Al Ahly. 2-1 defeat in Cairo, a 1-1 draw here, despite leading on away goals until Abdelmanem's header broke Wydad hearts, and a chance for a second straight title. Well, it was going off target, in fact, but certainly Hartness wasn't to know that from the strike from Bouguera. The threat was still there, and it remains so now from the set piece. Swung into the area, keeper, oh, he gets a hand to it, Bouguera lifts it over, it's a scramble! Well, all the bodies piling in, and eventually the referee has to bring the scramash to a close.
I like the way the game is going now. The game is getting heated now. Now it looks like Esperance have found their feet. They want to get back and score as soon as possible. And the game is getting interesting now.
Well, it's a real coming together in the end. Had it gone in with the flying Mohamed Amin Tugai, would have been for handball, but it came off the post and produced a moment where all the players just piled in, hoping and praying that either we go in or get out. Well, maybe a good moment for not just us, but the teams to take a big intake of breath. It has been a breathless start to the second half. Wydad Casablanca may have the vital breakthrough. But the tie won't be finished tonight, but we can see how well matched these sides are. This isn't going to be an easy one to reach the final.
It's not going to be easy one to be the final. I'm sure the second leg is going to be a different story. that makes football so beautiful. You know, the fans are behind them. Esperance look like they are like silent killers. You don't see when they will attack. You know, so it's going to be very, very interesting in the second leg.
Well, they're certainly not been quiet. Wydad fans, unfortunately, back to his feet. There was a crush of bodies that looked more like a scrum in the rugby. They are packed in here, and they've been rewarded for their faithful support. Bousfian, his curling cross, catching out Ben Sharifa, thanks to the darting run of El Bari. And Wydad have a 1-goal lead, but it's certainly not a comfortable one. Just a pleasure at times to listen as the Wydad fans sing their hearts out. Bousfian certainly brought them to their feet, and now serenading their heroes on the pitch. Ball swung in but breaks for Teka. There's only one way to silence a crowd like this, and Esperance would love to do so. Teka rides the challenge. It's a really good ball. Chance to strike. Brilliant opportunity, but just striking straight at the goalkeeper, Ouahabi.
That was a great move from Esperance. He got it right. He did what he had to do, but the ball went straight to the goalkeeper. But it was a great effort from Esperance.
There's just a lack of that little bit of composure when striking the ball. He maybe got a little excited at seeing the goal open up.
Exactly, but you could see he brought the ball on favorite foot, and he tried to strike it. If he had gotten a bit on the side, it would have been a very good goal.
Well, it's another example that this match is far from over, despite Wydad finally finding that precious goal. We'll see how the rest of the match unfolds, but would be very shocked if this isn't just the setup for another titanic battle in the second leg. That'll take place on the 1st of November. As the ball drifted in. Well read, but Bousfian keeps it alive. On the spin, he's going the long way round. Still turning and dancing. Eventually goes against Shirka El Bari. He's just trying to shape up for a goal. It might be his last intervention. Well, certainly in the second leg against Enyemba. It's a really impressive substitute appearance from Abdallah Ahmoud, and he will be on again, but it's a fantastic return for Buli Junior Sambu, the Batola top scorer last season with 13 goals. 2 goals already in 4 appearances this season. Slightly interrupted due to injury. Having started both Champions League qualifiers against Haifa. This is African Football League debut, the 24-year-old Senegalese striker. Soufiane Anash heading off alongside El Bari. Certainly El Bari will feel frustrated to go off without a goal, but delighted with his intervention that helped get the first goal.
Exactly, but for me, I think it will look like he's disappointed, but in his mind he's very, very happy to at least be on the field and getting a goal before going out.
Well, striding forward out from the back, Yassine Meria doing well as the referee keeps on top of things. Got to be a little bit careful there, Traoui. Well, the referee isn't being overly strict, but just being very clear. There's one man in charge, and the players need just concentrate on their own job. Not quite sure he had a case.
He's trying to protect his countryman.
So Esperance, the delivery, it's a good one, and it's a fantastic defensive header. Sambu coming on. The striker showing focus on his defensive duty too. Esperance showing no concern, and very quickly Isham Bousfian recovers when there was no decision coming his way. It comes to Teka here, tries to go through, but Jabrani with a fine save, but the strike ambitious. A couple of players hitting the deck. Fully committed, full-blooded contest. Hartness and Uabi feeling the effects. Absolute commitment, and that brings sometimes plenty of pain.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. I think the defender should even feel the pain because he hit the side boot of the striker.
Long ball, certainly favouring Ben Sharifa after it skipped off the extra watered Mohammed V pitch. He's been dribbling here in Casablanca, but it's Wydad now rushing forward. Lovely little ball from Draoui to the substitute Mahmoud. Draoui disguised somewhat. Now the initial substitute who came on at the half-time break, Latimi, ambitious, and a deflection taking any pace that may have been on the strike. Long ball, angled and chased, and it almost looked like it might fall into the path of Kacha, who is able to protect it and see it out after Harkness gave chase. So 15 minutes remaining. Is this a result that Esperance could live with?
I think they are progressing. They are gradually coming forward. But my problem with So is he's always outside the box. You know, he's a very big striker, but he's always outside the box. I haven't seen him going for any header. And a big striker like that, you should try and do something for your team.
Talking of big strikers, Sambu linking with Bousfian, who seems to be going the way of Onajem, a bit too concentrated on hitting the deck and playing on. The referee hasn't been buying such things. And Esperance, so again, it's the young substitute Soe, just 18 years of age. Looking to hopefully link with fellow sub GYAN Sase, the Brazilian, heading on in place of Gacha. But so far the chances for Esperance have come from the midfield. Jan Medero Sase has scored a winner this season away at CS Safaxian in the Ligue 1 of Tunisia. This is his third appearance in the African Football League. Just the one start. He was in that 3-0 thrashing of Tepe Mazembe. The scoreline quite representative of the tight nature of the match overall. GYAN Sase with 2 assists. Can he create for Esperance? For the moment they're having to defend, but suddenly now Wydad have that goal advantage. There's not the same rush to try and get it forward.
Exactly, I think they are taking their time to work on the second goal, and that is what they are doing.
Well, it was the right ball, just a little too much whip on it, but Ayub El Amloud needs no encouragement to bomb forward.
And his style of play has been very, very impressive. I haven't seen the right back always in the attack. Sometimes you see Liverpool doing that, but his style has been is unique. You know, it's honestly, when I saw him, I thought he was a striker.
He certainly scored like one too. Well, Busfian, he's got himself the goal from a wicked delivery that curled into the back of the net. Now heading off for the substitute, Sayedine Boura, who scored that massive away goal in Cairo in the first leg of the CAF Champions League final, which looked to be a defining moment when they led 1-0 here in the second leg, only for late equaliser for Al Ahly to offer Club of the Century an 11th record-extending CAF Champions League crown. Shoulder the issue. I think the way he landed with his arm out. It was his chance just before Gayet Ouahabi, but right down the throat of Youssef El Moti. You can see he knows he could have done better.
And he's been very, very lively for Esperance. He's the only one who tries to make things happen. You know, they've been very, very defensive minded, but he's the only player who takes the ball, tries to take players on, tries to create something.
I guess that's so vital when you're sitting deep, just to have someone who can carry the ball, maybe beat a player and then use the space, because if a team's pushed on you, there's clearly space to attack into.
That is why you need a striker like So to be a bit lively, to make sure he makes things happen. One player can try and make a difference, but make a dangerous move for any penetrative passes. But all the balls, he's always outside the box, which is not helping Esperance.
Certainly they're having to do a lot with very little, just 35% of possession, slightly up on the 29 at the break. But no great surprise. It'll be interesting to see in the second leg if the roles are reversed or if Wydad are braver. Boura swings it in, but a little... Well, the ball seemed to just get caught in the night sky. In fairness, Yassin Maria did well, and now charging run from Bouguera. Two Wydad players with him, and he's won a free kick. Well, Traoui going to ground. Bouguera showing he's not surprised. A clear-cut decision.
And I'm sure Esperance is very, very happy the way they are playing now. I think they can hold on with a 1-0 or try and get some set pieces and get some goals. If it ends 1-0, I think they are happy, because the way they are slowing things down, they don't feel that sense of urgency. They just want to take their time, make sure they keep the results or even draw, and then they wait for the second leg.
Well, I guess if you ask, can you win a game at home 1-0 at least, potentially go to penalties or win it, certainly something a club like Esperance would back themselves on. So the substitute, GYAN Sassi, 2 assists in the previous game. Did pick out the head of So. He is in the box this time. Not able to do too much heading back across. He's now dropped deep. And Asamoah, it's not hard sitting beside him to know exactly where he wants him. Is that the difficult thing if you're obviously following certain amount of orders of being defensive, but you've still got to provide some kind of outlet?
Exactly. When you are being defensive and you have a small opportunity, as a striker, you need to be in the box because you are the target man. When you go outside the box, then I don't think they want to score a goal.
Unless you've got flying fullbacks, as Wydad have shown, then it's not a tactical decision, it's leaving the option out on its ability to try and get a goal. So it shows the nature of the second half. Quite surprised to look up and there's just over 7 minutes left. It's flown by. We find the opening goal, but otherwise it has just been a match that has really kept the attention. Full-blooded battle. So far, Wydad with the slender advantage. Ball out to the flank, Boura. Bit of movement from Jabrani. No, in fact, it's Draoui who's doing an awful lot of forward running now. Well, he was the one to give away a foul minutes ago. He's the one now to have a bit of pain, but there is a gain for Wydad, and a second goal could be priceless in a matchup that's so tight.
A second goal will be very, very crucial for Wydad. They desperately need it. Although they desperately need it, but they are very calm. They don't want to take the risk. They want to hold on to their 1-0. If they get the second goal, I think they will be extra fine.
One is good, two would be better. Boura wanting to deliver. No wonder Esperance are keeping their tabs on Boulay. Man who knows where the net is. Ball swung in. Fine header by So. Nodded back in. A little bit of desperation. Back to the feet of Atiatala. Boura. Good reverse ball. Harkness. Now just strikes it. So close to Teka. I'm not even sure it came off his hand, but I mean, much he could have done. Ahmed. Now it's Harkness. Boura. Getting up ahead of steam. Tries the same cross that brought about the opening goal from Bousfian, but well, I think it's a coming together of heads, and obviously player welfare the utmost importance. Well, Adil Ramzi will be happy, and in some respects Tariq Tabit might be as well. Wydad with the slender advantage, but it is still very much a match and a tie on a knife edge. As we just see, it's a little late from Latima. Just clattering into Gate Ouanabi. Hopefully both players will be okay. Well, how have you found the semi-final first leg so far? Of course, you took in Mamelodi Sundowns Al Ahly earlier, a 1-0 win as well in that game.
For me, it's like this second one. Everybody has been very, very tactical. Everybody was very, very cautious. You know, everybody wants to get to the final. You don't want to concede goals. Al Ahly defended to the end. At the end of the day, we conceded just one goal, and this is what we're still witnessing right now. No, everybody is depending on the second leg of the competition, and for me, I don't think it's guaranteed whether you're going to score goal at home or not.
So the boos ring out. The fans painfully aware of the risk of conceding not just the lead, but an away goal. Well, the Esperance replacements wait patiently. They get the G up as they prepare to come on. Preparing to enter the fray. Wael Darbali. But before the subs are made, a set piece of which they're going long. Nodded up. Headed away further from Sambu. So Amuda and Amamu alongside the patient Derbali as they wait to get on, and now they will do. So 20-year-old Mohamed Wael Derbali heads on. This is the end of the night for Ouanabi. from Olympic Beja. There's also Teka coming off. Eni Amamu, another ex-CS Safaxian player in his third campaign with Esperance, as Bugera, the final to be replaced. Mohamed Ali Ben Amouda coming on, a striker who has had a knack of scoring, scored 4 times on their route to the Champions League latter stages. Little flick on, could have caused problems, but Hartness well placed, but that strike from distance really well blocked, and finally Amin Aboufat, not just distance but finds touch.
Wydad should hold on to the 1-0. It looks like they're in a bit of difficulties right now. There's pressure. You know, this is where they should have confidence. Make sure they keep the ball, create fouls, slow the game down, and then they can have their victory.
Long throw. Will slide, but it's 5 minutes is the word that will be added on. And as you said earlier, Wydad would love to get that second goal, but at this point, it is shut things down. Make sure you keep the 1-0.
Yes, that is where the experience counts. You know, you have to just make sure you hold on to your 1-0, keep the ball, create some fouls, frustrate them, and then you can have your victory. Five minutes is a lot. Anything can happen in these 5 minutes.
Well, and especially when you give away the ball in a dangerous area, but just Sasse standing on the ball. Lovely little shimmy. Mahmoud, some lovely play on the ball, lovely trickery, and it not only gets Wydad moving forward. For a moment, looked like they might be on the attack, but just able to slow it down a little. Jabrani adds in a little extra. Well, the strike was ambitious. I think the slip likely did not help Tiatala.
I think the build-up play was sweet. They string their passes together and they decided to shoot, which sometimes it happens. But the build-up play was very, very good.
Bura alongside Sambu, pressing. Eventually the ball is run through to El Moti. And it's now he. He'll be happy to take a bit of time out of the game. So as mentioned, 5 minutes. We've almost played the first minute. It's an awful lot of time left. Ilyas Chete preparing to come on as the final change for Ramsey. So the Algerian preparing to enter. And off comes Yaya Atiatala. Once again, really impressive Moroccan international. They want to keep him in cotton wool ahead of the second leg, when Wydad will likely have to do a lot more defending, you would imagine. It'd be interesting to see the other side of Esperance come the second leg.
Yes, they are very, very strong at home, and that is why they still believe they can beat Wydad. They don't feel any sense of urgency. They are calm with they are okay with their 1-0 defeat, and hopefully let's see how the second leg is going to be like.
Imagine that's what makes a difference. As Bura shows some lovely footwork, but then a nice little triangle. So slides it on. Maria chases after it. The substitute Shetty getting in the way as he just calls for Can, like you said. This is what clearly is the difference between teams that win titles and ones who might make a mistake and lose a second goal.
Exactly, the coach knows exactly what he wants. I think he is very, very satisfied with the performance. He's satisfied with the results. Although they've conceded a goal. But you could see he's telling his players to calm down, which means he's okay with the results, and hopefully he's gonna do his homework in the second leg.
It's the difference between understanding, losing can be part of winning, given they have a second leg on home soil. And if you told them they only have to overturn a 1-0, that's something that they would back themselves to do.
Yeah, they still feel they can score some goals at home. They still feel they can score even one at home. So if they score one at home, then it can go on to the penalty shootout or something. So they are not worried at all. You can see how they are playing, their demeanor. They are very, very confident in themselves.
Well, it was Ben Sharifa who was at threat of a yellow card in the first half. Now the roles have changed. El Moti does pick up a booking for wasting time. Of course, what will create the added fascination and tension in the second leg, if it stays 1-0, is that a goal for Wydad would be an away goal, and suddenly the pressure to score goals will be ratcheted up for Esperance.
Exactly. So Wydad will hold on and then make sure he goes there, play like the way Esperance is playing now, and then I think they have a more offensive.
A chance here. Thought about the shot. Does curl it, but it's wastefully over from the Brazilian. Well, with just 30 seconds remaining, when you've got a chance like that, you must be desperate just to hit the target. Had an option inside. The reaction says it all from Amuda. I imagine you might have some choice words if a player didn't pass it to you if you were in that position.
Sometimes there'll be frustration, sometimes people shout, sometimes they just discuss, hey, you should have passed it to me or something. Maybe when they go back, they watch the video and it was like, I should have passed it, or it's something that happens normally on the field.
Well, that is that. It is just half-time in the tie of the African Football League semi-final between Wydad Casablanca and Esperance Tunis. But it is the Moroccans who have the slender advantage. El Moti not happy. But I think once they cool down, both sides will be able to take positives. It's Wydad through Bousfian who take a slender lead to Tunisia for the second leg on the 1st of November. Well, no wonder the coach looks calm, as we talked about. Tariq Tabet will back Tunisian champions to overturn the 1-0, but Wydad will be absolutely delighted. They might have wanted more than just one, but a goal lead and the away goals rule, they'll be going across to Tunisia for the second instalment of this North African derby, full of confidence. So we are really set up in both ties for tremendous second legs.
You can see the away team, that's Esperance. Their fans are cheering up. They believe in their boys. They know they're gonna prove something in the second leg.
معز، شو يمكن نقوله على المقابله ديال اليوم امام فريق الوداد الرياض؟
والله يقبل كل شيء، هي مقابله ديربي مغاربي ونزوز جمعيات كبار في القاره الافريقيه. دونك اليوم نتصور عرس كروي كبير. شفنا معنا اليوم حضور جماهيري، خاصه الجمهور نتاعنا اليوم بالرغم معناتها المقابله جات في وقت قياسي، معناتها في زوز ايام، وشوفوا تحول الجماهير نتاعنا. مقابله كانت محترمه من زوز جمعيات. المقابله ما تقاتش معناتها للمستوى الكبير، شفنا لونجاجمون فيزيك اكثر منه كوره. بالنسبه لنا احنا توا مقابله اليوم صفحه ونتويوا، عندنا مقابله صعيبه تستنى فينا في تونس، ان شاء الله نحضروا لها كما يلزم، وان شاء الله تراجي مازال حي وموجود، وبقدره ربي على شليه معناتها نجيبوا كاليفيكاسيون من تونس ان شاء الله.
شو اللي خلى اليوم ان فريق الوداد الرياضي يتفوق على فريق الترجي التونسي في هذه المقابله الاولى؟
والله يعني قلت لك معناتها بالنسبه للمقابله اليوم، مقابله اليوم ما لقيناش ما ريناش فرص كبيره من زوج جمعيات. يمكن فريق الوداد خير يستحفظ على الكره اكثر منا نحن. بالنسبه لنا احنا اليوم فما عديد الايجابيات، ان شاء الله الحاجات اللي كانوا ناقصين اليوم في المقابله اليوم ان شاء الله نصلحوهم مقابله الاياب، وكما قلت لك انتم صفحه مقابله اليوم ونحضر مقابله الاياب ان شاء الله.
شكرا لك معز. شكرا.
Merci coach.
كوتش
Merci coach. I want to coach. Toujours on reste là. Coach avec 3, 2, 1.
كوتش شو اللي خلى فريق الوداد الرياضي اليوم يتفوق على فريق الترجي التونسي، وكيفاش شفتي هذه المقابله الاولى؟
كما شاف الجميع الحمد لله حنا الفرق الماتش دومينيناه 90 دقيقة، كانوا عندهم دي زوكازيون خاطرين، ولكن هذا هو الفوتبول، سجلنا هدف، كانوا عندنا دي زوكازيون، تنظن انها بالنسبة لنا نتيجة ايجابية، لان اللي مهم ما ماركاوش علينا هنايا. باقي مباراة أخرى كما قلت لك، هذه مباراة تاع 180 دقيقة، لعبنا الشوط الأول، دابا الشوط الثاني غادي نلعبوه في تونس. الحنا مرتاح للعرض اللي قدموه اللعابة، لأنه باش دوميني هنايا في هذا لو نيفو مزيان، يعني صافي حنا في الطريق المزيانة. انا ديما كما قلت لك بيرفكسيونيست، نبغي نقلب على مسائل نحسنوا اكثر ليفيكاسيتي، ولكن الدراري زعما مشكورين. دابا سي ريكوبيري، دابا الماكله والراحه، وان شاء الله في تونس نحاولوا نكملوها ان شاء الله.
شكرا لك كوتش وفيليسيتاسيون.
خليك toujours fluid. Merci coach.
مريم سي بون. مريم برافو سي بون. كوتش كيفاش شفتي قراءتك للمقابله ديال اليوم امام فريق الوداد الرياضي؟
والله اول شيء الحمد لله معناتها على كل حال، نظن اللي 1-0 خسرنا 1-0، لكن كنا بصراحه ومريت ميو، بصراحه كنا نجموا في ظل صحيح كان ماتش معناتها ماتش باهي برشا من بيناتنا، معناتها كنا بصراحه في الشوط الاول كنا صحيح مؤخرين، لكن كنا سكرنا المنافذ نتاع الفريق المنافس، لكن في نفس الوقت جونا كور اللي كنا نجموا نسجلوهم. في الشوط الثاني كان احسن برشا بالنسبه لنا احنا، حاولنا نلعبوا البونتوجيه معناتها في وقت معناتها خايب، صحيح سجلوا، عملنا ردة فعل، حاولنا كل الطرق باش نحاولوا نعدلوا، اجتهدنا، الناس كل جرت بصراحه في الشوط الثاني. الملاعبيه معناتها عملوا معناتها مجهود كبير برشا، جوتنا كور بصراحه كنا نجموا نسجلوا على الغالب، هذاك الله كريم الحمد لله. معناتها ان شاء الله مازال شوط ثاني في تونس، ان شاء الله نعاودوا نفس اللي عملناه المره اللي فاتت مع مازامبي، نحضروا ماتشينا ان شاء الله تو الاسترجاع والاستشفاء. الملاعبيه نتاعنا اليوم مروا روح كبيره بصراحه في الملعب، الناس كل تجري، الناس كل معناتها نقول اني حاضره للماتش، بالرغم اللي معناتها نقول معناتها الجماهير هذه موجوده، ان شاء الله في راد الجماهير تكون موجوده وتكون المؤازر الاول لنا احنا مره اخرى، وان شاء الله نعملوا رده فعل كبيره برشا بالروح اللي وراها الملعبيه باذن الله، ان شاء الله نكونوا متعدين باذن الله ان شاء الله.
شكرا لك كوتش.
D'abord on va là.
So a sixth win on the trot for Wydad Casablanca. They now only need to remain undefeated in the second leg. Whether the possession stats will switch when we hit Tunisia, wait and see. But Esperance certainly put more into it in the second half. More chances, but they couldn't get that precious away goal. But as we talked about, leaving pretty happy overall with just the 1-0 deficit. A wonderful atmosphere. Wydad Casablanca against Esperance Tunis. A brilliant North African derby for the first leg of this second semi-final of the African Football League. And it was almost that man again on the score sheet. Ayoub El Amloud doing the striking part despite being a fullback, but this time he couldn't head it in. Then from distance, Amin Aboufat, the only defender not to score in the previous win over Enyimba, but a fine save from Moez Ben Sharifa. Esperance did have their chances. Rodriguez with a fine header, generating the power. Motti gets it across for a fingertip save. Just about see the funny side of things. Goalless at the break. That certainly suited the visitors. Wydad frustrated, looking for that breakthrough. But it would finally come, skipping off the wet turf in Casablanca. Bousfian with the breakthrough, but great credit to El Bari's run across. And that took Ben Sharifa's eye. And the keeper couldn't readjust. The pace of the ball, firing past him, just shy of the hour mark. And it could have been even better. Brilliant pick out by Atiatala. But El Bari, the width of the bar, denying him his first African Football League goal. Right at the death. A sighted goal for substitute GYAN Sassi, but he couldn't hit the target. In the end, it's calm from Esperance. Relative delight for Wydad, but this at only half-time. What a second leg in prospect. So this is how things stand. Mamelodi Sundowns with that slender advantage from their first leg tie. 1-0 victory over Al Ahly. Wydad the same against Esperance, but there's no way to say that they're favourites in these two titanic semi-finals, but now just one match apiece away from a potential final. Well, thanks for joining us. Be back on the 1st of November for the second legs, but for now, goodbye.